I hope this is an epic video that comes up. I kind of stole it off Steph Curry a little bit.
The Olympic podium. Scotty ruined it.
183. 240-yard pitching wedge. Frankie never listens to me about the grip. Like, he's 7, but I need him to have a good grip. We are at Jumeirah Golf Estates. This is my home club, and it's also the home of the... Hey Ross, how are you? The home of the Tommy Fleetwood Academy, so very proud of that. We are driving there now. This is going to be just a regular working day for me, like a regular practice day. It's major season is upon us. This is my job, and we've got a lot to practice for, so that's today. Let's go inside. I'll just show you quickly around the academy. Hey boys, act normal. Putting studio straight off the bat. It's one of my favourite rooms. This is it's like a good vibes wall for all of us that are here. Like I'm gonna be like selfish and pick the ones that, you know, the meaningful ones for me. I think these two here are so cool. So this was me caddying for Oscar. Oscar had just made the cut, which like for us was just such an unbelievable achievement. I don't think I smile like that when I'm playing my own game, really. So that's a really cool moment. I love that one being on there. And then just above it, we've got the Olympic podium. I feel like that there is like such an inspirational moment, you know, standing on an Olympic podium. So, and then, you know, we've got all these pictures, so much cool stuff going on, and hopefully this wall is going to just continue to expand and get bigger and bigger. So this is really cool. So this is, I don't know how else to call it, but my office. Pitching area, range, putting green. Frankie Fleetwood's probably hit more putts on this putting green than anybody over the last 2 years. But I'm not far behind him. Yeah, I mean, look at this. How good does this look this morning? This is called a plane Perfector. For me, there's so many elements to the golf swing, but the three main ones, the three big ones, I think, are spine angle, shaft angle, and arm track, where your arms are swinging. So this for me basically takes care of the one that I would probably struggle the most with, definitely at early stages in my career, would be the shaft angle. So keeps me nice and on plane. Very often I will throw something in. Let's use a golf box today. People have seen me have this in just the other side of the golf ball. It's very easy to cheat it. And also, out of all of these things, most important thing in golf, where the club is at impact. You know, I'm a big believer in 6 inches before and after the golf ball, unbelievably important. So easy to cheat something like this, thinking it's doing you a lot of good, but if you get that wrong, I could easily come over the top, cutting across the ball, and to avoid that, throw this box in there. So now I can't cheat my takeaway and I can't cheat my impact. So that's something that's covering impact. People talk about feel and reel. You want feel and reel to be as close together as possible. If I am doing all these things but my head moves over here, if I topple, fall onto my toes, all these things that you can't actually feel really when you're swinging, but they're happening. And even though it looks like there's a lot going on, it actually makes me feel like I can swing as free as possible. So the more constrained I've made my, you know, certain aspects of my golf swing, the absolute freer I can feel, the more I feel like I can turn, the harder I feel I can hit it, because I've stayed in such a good structured place. Okay, feeling pretty good about that. take the plain Perfector away, but continue using the stick. So an underrated aspect of like the very best golfers starting the ball online. For us, like shaping it into a destructive place, in a really bad place, shouldn't happen that often. So if that's the case, start line is pretty key. This is how I would go about this system. I'm going to aim at that floodlight in the distance, which is just left of that blue flag, and I'm going to put a ball about 6 feet in front, and it doesn't have to be that specific. Sticks can be about a foot apart. If you've got big feet, which I don't, maybe a bit less than a foot apart. Now we'll swing, try and hit through those sticks.
You think you'll get it over me if I lay here?
Yeah. I hope this is an epic video that comes up. Two things only ever happen with me. I'm a drawer of the golf ball very naturally. I think I can't ever remember in all my time as a golfer ever hitting this left stick, ever. I've hit this a million times. But also if I see the ball, I'm likely to see the ball turning, so I could start it on line and maybe be overdrawing it to the left. The easiest thing then would be to cheat it, start the ball further right. Well, that's just going to get my swing going in the completely wrong direction. I definitely don't need that. So with the sticks being there, that takes care of, I'm going to make sure I start it through these sticks every time, and then I'll work on cleaning up my ball flight if that's what's happening.
I mean, that sound is just unbelievable.
Oh, really? I'm running out of water. Okay, so we've gone through, I've got my swing in a pretty good spot, or at least feeling, you know, feels that I could go out with, knowing what I'm working on and where I want to be. Got my start line dialed in. Next thing is I'll throw the Trackman on. Now I will get some yardages, so I'll then build my feels. Spoke about the 3 different shots that I like to hit: stock, smooth, hands to shoulders. Always start with full swing, stock swing. I'll look to go around the 190 mark. There you go, 192, 7 iron. So shoulders 7. .184. Obviously going a long way. It's very hot today, but you know, we have hot numbers for really hot climates. UK numbers, which you know, you get to link season in the UK, you'll have some UK numbers, and all different sets. Altitude, when you've been to so many different venues, so many different countries, you end up having a big chart of all different conditions and numbers. Finished with a smooth 7. Hopefully go somewhere between 186 and 188. Wait for it. 183. A little bit short. go a little bit better. So smooth one there, 185. So, you know, of course, you always hit, not just going to hit one shot, you're going to hit 3 or 4, try and dial in those feels, and also pick the average of those as well. But that was a good one. 185 is exactly where we would like it to be. Okay, now I'll hit a few 9-woods, my 240-yard pitching wedge. I love my 9-wood. That was better. 240-yard pitching wedge, 238. Okay, so now we've done our maintenance work on the swing, start line, dialed in our feels, our distances. Last thing will be tee shots, move on to the woods, hit a few drivers, probably go through the majority of the courses we actually know, so it's always good to hit a few of those tee shots that you know are coming. Sometimes you'll just know there's a particular shot you want to hit off that tee. Picture the shot, you can create that shot however you want on whatever range. I actually, when we're at tournaments and we have the yardage books, like we always have in there is like a picture of the tee shot, and if I'm on the range at a tournament, warm up or even a practice session, just taking that yardage book out and looking at the picture, trying to look up and create like the view of that shot in the distance there, and then I'll work on trying to hit that shot on the range. So like get a good picture of it and hit it, and then like one of the things I always use, I've always used it in short game. I use the term like pre-played, so like in practice rounds, areas around the green that you're likely to be, go hit that shot. I would say it's pre-played, so then when you get there, you know, you've hit it there, you've hit that shot already, you can step in and hopefully be trusting and without too much thought, just step in and hit that shot. And it'll be the same with tee shots, you know, stand on that first tee. I've just hit this tee shot twice in the warm-up and I've hit 2 really good ones. So that would be, you know, key to hitting tee shots, I think. Good drives. Width. Okay, pretty happy there. So time to go to the short game, get my wedges. On we go.
What wedges did you grab?
60, 52 pitching wedge. Sometimes I'll bring a 9-iron as well. For me, the more clubs I chip with, even if I'm only going to chip with one on the golf course, like 60 is the predominant club that I chip with, and 52 is probably the next one down, but the more clubs I practice with, the more feel I think it gives me, and the more it actually helps me when I just use one club. So to start with, I always like chipping to no target. I feel like as soon as you start going to targets, and it's the same on the range, as soon as you start hitting to a target, you'll just manipulate something in some way. Like it just happens that way. You end up trying to hit a golf shot that will get it either on target or close to the hole. So I like, just for the sake of hitting a nice simple chip shot, just chipping a few to like any point on the green, and that way I don't sort of compromise my technique by seeing a shot or wanting to land it in some particular space. So, and then, you know, it might take me 20 balls some days, might take me 10, might take me a couple, just to feel like I'm very comfy. And then after that, one of my favorite things to do is I will pick a pin. So that, you know, the back pin today is maybe 20 yards. You know, 20 yards, sometimes it'll be 30 yards, whatever it is, but I've got 3 clubs here. So I'm gonna hit 3 shots with 3 clubs, 3 different landing spots. So that will make me start changing the loft on the clubs, or changing the feel, changing how the ball rolls out, and that's just creating feel then. So just a standard one first to that back pin. Probably going to land just past halfway. I would always go, this is just what I prefer, I'd always go for a low one next, so this is going to land maybe a third of the way there. Nice low 60 degree, more of like a hooky one. And the final one, I'll loft it up and land it much closer to the hole. The next thing we'll do, we'll go to this pin here, short-sided, and I will just something I kind of stole it off Steph Curry a little bit, but you know, lots of people have done it, is I will just start close to the green and I'm just going to ladder backwards. So the shot keeps getting longer, but I continue to have not a lot of green to work with. So I'll probably have to keep getting more lofted as we go. So if we start like just a couple of yards off the green and hit a normal shot. So I got, you know, 5 paces of green really. So that's pretty standard pin on the PGA Tour, 4 or 5 paces of green to work with if you were short-sided. And we'll leave the basket here and let's just keep working our way back. Can probably still play this normal loft. Chip it on, land it just on. It's okay. I'm just going to keep moving further back. So this one's going to require a little bit more loft. There we go. It's an open. Then we'll go further back again. Good one to finish. In shorthand, that's our fairway work done. We've hit some basic shots. We've got feel, we've got vision, we've got the pace of the green. I've got options of clubs that I can use on the golf course now because I've practiced them. I've got a lofted shot off the fairway. So now we're going to move into rough and bunkers and work on that, getting ready for that. Bunker play is really cool for me. You're in like a space where there's so much that can happen. You could be on an upslope, could be on the flat, could be on a downslope. So I'm just going to set all these up now. I like setting it up before I've hit in a bunker, just find it really cool. There's a short-sided pin, there's a pin that's further away. So there's one at each. And then while we're at it, let's go perfect lie, an okay lie, and a bad lie. So now we're talking. Now that's going to be 5 balls at each. So then just a different feel, pretty normal lie. Let's go and hit it to the back pin. We'll leave those 3 there. Come back to that later. Let's move on to the downslope for now. Not a very steep downslope, but still a downslope. Still going to react differently. Actually lost track of what I was doing and went to the far one. Go in. Now we'll go to that short-sided one. Close, close. I would actually class that as a very good shot. Now same scenario, the upslope. Let's go to the far one first again, see if we can build up some speed and get it there off an upslope. Go. Quite little right, upslope, short-sided. See, this one will be much easier than the far one, or it should be. Okay, different feels, different yardages. So now let's set these up off the flat. Absolutely pristine, perfect lie. Say pretty much average lie. And we'll plug one. choose whichever pin you want to go to. Let's just for this sake, let's go to the back pin. We'll go to the back pin to all of these different lies. So perfect lie to the back pin. Not my best, can do better, but we'll move on to the average lie. And again, all these balls are going to react differently, and I'm probably going to do slightly different things in how I play them, but I'll just let that happen subconsciously, especially when I'm just getting ready to play. That was a nice shot. So this one here, semi-plugged lie. Just get this onto the green, it's going to release. A little bit short, but not bad. Okay, 6 balls to go in the bunker. Slight downslope, we'll put it on this bit of downslope. Oh, we found a perfect lie on the downslope. Found an average one, and somehow we've plugged one on the downslope now. Let's go to the far pin, we'll keep it consistent. Oh, that was a beauty. Into the average lie. This would just be an all-time shocker, but let's give it a go. Let's get really leaning with the slope, get this thing out. Oh! Tough shot, you don't want that one. You do not want that one. And then we'll finish on the upslope, so managed to roll it up there. Pretty average. We'll plug one in the face. Perfect lie off an upslope. Oh. Average lie. Plugged lie all the way to that back pin. Not going to get it there. I feel like there I've done more than enough to feel comfortable that if I go onto the course and hit the ball in a bunker, I've basically covered there in my practice. Almost, you know, plenty of the scenarios that I'm going to go in. I can work it out from there. The final thing I'd do, head to the putting green and let's hit some putts. First thing, so one of my favourite aids of putting at the moment, there's a million training aids, we all go through them all, is this little thing called the T-bar. And basically it's a alignment and start line aid. So first thing I'll do, I'm going to walk around the green and I'm going to find a straight putt. Big theme is like a calibration you've seen on the range, playing Perfector, something with my strike, sticks around my head, start line, short game, chip to nowhere, some strike work in a bunker, all calibration kind of things. This is the same. So we're going to start on a straight putt and we're going to use the T-bar to hit a few. So you know that's aiming straight at the hole. I've got my face angle to line up on, straight line to look down on, and if I roll it straight down that, it's going to start on line. And there we go. So if you can aim good and start the ball on line, that's 2 key things about putting that are taken care of. Okay, so I feel comfortable with my aim, my start line. I feel like definitely my aim and my club face is calibrated to square. Next thing, I do like aim point. With everything, it is a tool. I try and use everything I can to read greens. But if I'm going to use aim point, we have to make sure that we, you know, are calibrated towards that, feeling the slopes well. So I'll go around the green, set things up without explaining aim point. The percentage, the gradient of the slope is very important, and your feet are a key aspect of that. So having things that are calibrated, I've got a 1%, a 2% and a 3% calibrated here. this is just warming my feet up now so that I know that I'm feeling, you know, when I go around, I'm going to feel the slopes on the greens, on the course, that I've got a good idea of what these percentages feel like, because that's important when it goes into my routine and my read. So I'll calibrate towards that. I'll then walk around the green, pick a few slopes, get my feet warmed up, and then from there, I'm now going to pick 2 or 3 putts where I'm going to use the level to pick my slope, or to find my slope I should say. So now I'm looking at what, a 6-7 foot putt, and I know it's a 2% slope, 2.1 to be exact. Feel that, make sure I'm getting some constance and feeling the slope. One thing about this green we've got today is a bit of grain as well. Now, in putting, putt that's uphill, you're going to maybe hit a little bit firmer, maybe not, but it's going to break a little less. Downhill, it's going to break a little more. This green in particular has some grain on it. Grain is going to play an effect, and we travel to different courses week in, week out. So 2% slope, let's calibrate into a 2. I think it's going to do a little bit more because of grain, but I'll throw a tee down, and now I'm going to see if my read's any good. Whether it goes in or not isn't actually that important. It's just seeing what the ball is doing on this slope. So that broke a little more, which means the grain, I'm pretty sure that's the grain having a bit more of an effect. So move the tee a little higher, I'll aim on that, hit another putt. But this is all not being too hard on yourself whether it goes in or not. This is just seeing what each different putt is doing and how the green is reacting, how the slopes are working. So that was better. So I'll hit 2 or 3 putts on that line. That's a right to lefter, a little bit uphill. Let's move into a little bit of pace now. Everybody has their different strengths. Some people, you know, Justin Rose, one of the best bunker players I've ever seen. I remember asking him about it. He says never really practices it, but he's, you know, amazing at it. I enjoy pace putting, like long pace putts, and for me, I do practice it, but I don't spend. It's not one of those things I have to spend hours on. I just have to stay in check. So what I like to do is I do a little thing around the green where I'll give myself a target of 2 putting 3 times in a row, and I'll pick long putts with different slopes. So from that, I feel like I get a good feel of my pace, and then I'll have to do some holing out as well. So I'll find a hole a long way away. Good putt. So that'll be 1 2 putt. Have to get another 2 putts after that, and that will be my 3. And at that point, I feel like I have dialed in my aim, my start line. I've calibrated my feet. I've seen how these greens are reacting to certain slopes, which are on aim point, which is a big part of my read. So on here, a 2% slope, we've got grain playing a massive effect. It actually played more like a 2.5 to a 3. So however I was reading the putt, I would always give a bit more on these greens. I would always play on the high side, knowing that it's always going to have a chance with the grain. And from there to finish, my long pace putt and get my feel in. Probably have to do some holing out as well, because I'm trying to 2-putt all of those putts as much as possible. And that's me done. I'm ready to go. I've hit balls, I've chipped, I've putted. Let's go.